Tonight's episode of the 31st Lap Podcast is brought to you by DirtTrackDigest.com. If it's on dirt, it's on Dirt Track Digest.
This is the 31st Lap Podcast, recorded live in the studios of FingerLakes1.com in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now, your host, Chris Marquardt.
Good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to episode number 209 of the 31st Lap. We've got Tyler Siri joining us here this evening. We're going to talk a little bit about Outlaw Speedway as they move into Double Points Championship night this Friday, and also we're going to take a little bit deeper look at what they've got to offer here coming up in the postseason right around the corner. Tyler's actually on the line with us right now. Tyler, man, take me through what it's been like this summer as a first-year owner and what you've learned and what's changed, and then we'll get into a little bit of the track-specific stuff about what's coming up in the postseason.
Yeah, it's definitely been a learning experience on some things, and some other things. It is what I figured it would be, but just the weather and what kind of, if you got big special shows, you don't want to run if you have bad weather, and just a lot of little things like that, and some scheduling things that you learn. What works, what doesn't work, and it's definitely get first year under your belt, and then you kind of know pretty much what you're going to do, what you're not going to do, and move on to there for next year.
Is it kind of one of those things? It's just like with racing, you need seat time no matter what.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've been self-employed for 21 years, so business side, that, but everything's different. It doesn't matter if it's what kind of business. Everything is different, and you gotta figure out what works, what doesn't, and go from there.
Well, what works and what doesn't? We were chatting a little bit about what ended up working out. You found some new surface material down in Dresden, and little bit by little bit, you built some new material in, which I mean, history might suggest that that's not always a good idea, because sometimes you get in real trouble when you introduce clay to a surface in the middle of the year. Seemed to have held down okay, and you've built up a pretty good surface now.
Yeah, actually, I got surprised. I mean, I knew, when I bought the place that, it obviously needed clay, and we put some in this winter when we had some good weather. Got lucky with that, and that really helped for 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. But still definitely needed some more. And we had an issue a little bit on the back stretch, and in the front stretch there, getting into turn 1, we had a shelf there, and it just just couldn't get rid of it. We just tried grading it and couldn't get rid of it. But and then you're kind of at your mercy, because you definitely don't want to put clay on it, and then we've seen other tracks do that, and it's just a disaster. So you're trying to bide your time to the end of the season, but I definitely need to do something. So we got some clay, tried a couple loads of it, and the stuff was great. I mean, it bonded to my clay I have now, and kind of got lucky there. And so then we put a couple more loads in it, a couple more loads in it. So we definitely didn't want to go backwards, because we're kind of got what we had about the best we could get it without putting clay on it. And then, so if you do clay, you don't want to go backwards. And it actually worked out really well, and it's really helped out the surface, and the racing has been awesome. I mean, it's been fun watching 3-wide racing, the 4-cylinders run 4-wide, and so the last month it's been awesome. So I just put some more in it today, and it's going to be awesome for tomorrow.
So take us through what we're going to see. All 6 divisions in action tomorrow night. Law enforcement night, and it's championship night, double points. A couple good points races going on right now at the track as we get ready to conclude the regular season on Friday, and then we turn our attention to a couple big postseason shows that you've got.
Yeah, actually it's pretty exciting with this double point thing. I don't know if that was a smart move or a bad move to do that, but anybody in any of the 6 divisions can pretty much top 4, top 5 can win the championship. So it's going to be pretty exciting, and I just hope everybody doesn't have bad luck or or gets tied up in a wreck, because you go all summer long, and you could hurt yourself on this double point thing. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes for sure.
Ron Cartwright winning last weekend. It was his third win of the year. He looks real good, man. When he gets out front, he can check out. He's got plenty of good speed. In that ride, Gary Tompkins was chasing him at the line. Steve Payne taking third, Brady Foltz, and Joe Dean in the top five. Steve Payne is the division points leader over Alan Johnson and Derek Pasiello third, and you yourself in the 5-star are fourth, Justin Wright fifth. And the points, it seems like a manageable total for Steve Payne, but then you factor in the double point situation. He's got 818 with Alan Johnson on his heels with 786.
Yeah, Steve, I'll tell you, man, he's I think he's won 8 championships here, and I've never seen a guy that can, he never hurts his car. He always, if he gets in a wreck or spins out or something, he's just got luck on his side because he can, it doesn't hurt his car, and that's hats off to them guys because he definitely knows how to point race, that's for sure. I mean, we're racing every week for wins, but and Steve's been coming along pretty good of late too. Been really fast, so I mean, he's definitely the car to beat right now. And like I said, he's got luck on his side like I've never seen before. But hey, that's why you're an 8-time champ, and he's shooting for 9. So everybody's been the whole top 5, top 10. I mean, there's 21 mods that have been running weekly, and anybody can win on any given night. That's the beauty here at Outlaw. I mean, the racing's been great, and the competition is awesome, and it's in all the classes. So it's been exciting to watch. I love hopping on my trailer after I get done, and we're up in the pit tower and watching all the divisions, and it's exciting racing.
Steve Payne at one point finishing second to Alan Johnson with the steering arm falling apart on it. Was only able to steal with I think he was steering off of the right front wheel when that happened, and the birdcage fell apart, and he still held on for second place. So, and then I think it was last week where he spun out early and had to start out back in the field and ran through to pick up a win there, which really that established a little bit of the separation that he's got right now over Alan Johnson. Stacey Jackson, he won his third of the year in the sportsman division. He got over I lost my spot. Brent Ayers was on his heels. Frank Gurry Jr., A.J. Lloyd, Todd Hayward. They were all in the top 5. Chris Fisher is that's not the sportsman, is it? There it is. Chris Fisher leading the points. He's got about 23 points in hand over Tom Collins and Dale Welty in the 1, 2, 3. A.J. Lloyd and Brett Buono also riding in the top 5 in the sportsman class. Sportsman class has been real healthy over there.
Yeah, it's been awesome racing too. I mean, like I said, anybody can win Friday night, the championship, and those guys put on an awesome show every week too, and it's going to be exciting for sure. So fans want to see some great racing that they don't know who's going to win. The Friday nights, tomorrow nights, tonight to come out for sure.
In terms of not knowing who's going to win, only 18 points separate first and fifth in the IMCA division. Rich Michael Jr. won his second IMCA feature of the season last Friday. Brandon Smith and Rich Karlnowski finishing in the top 3. Sean Bruce leading the points. He's got 430 right now. Brandon Smith, 428. Brad Smith, 425. So 5 points from first to third. Phil Yaws got 417. Rich Karlnowski has 412.
Yeah, another exciting class. Those guys, I sound like a broken record here, but it's gonna be awesome tomorrow night. I mean, those guys put on a great show. Most of the time those guys are really good. So it's going to be exciting for that class as well for tomorrow.
Looking at the street stock division, Chuck Winslow earned the win last weekend. Jared Hill and Gene Balmer also right there on his heels in the 20-lap feature. Jason Knowles won his 4th late model feature over Brian Knowles and Bob Buono. Jordan Bacon won the youth feature, and the 4-cylinder feature was actually held off until this coming Friday, so it's going to be double points with an extra feature for the 4-cylinders. A lot of stuff could change up there in the crate late model division. Jason Knowles and Brian Knowles have been out in front all season long. Jason with 4 wins, and he's got 664 over 656 over Brian Bob Buono. next in line with 548 points, 542 for Adam Depew, and John Waters right there as well with 318. Field fell off a little bit through the course of the year, but nonetheless, that battle between the two Knowles boys, that could really shape up this weekend.
Yeah, those guys, they race great. The 20 car, he showed up last week, and they had a three-way battle. That was an awesome race. I love those late models. Those guys, they put on great racing, and it's just a shame you can't get 15, 20 of those things, and because I think it would be, on this track, it would be awesome. And the Knowles guys, they're right on their game this year, and they've been real fast for sure.
Chuck Winslow.
Four-cylinders, too. I got to tell you, the four-cylinders are one of my favorites to watch. Those guys run 3-4 wide all the way around this racetrack, 24 of them. And I'll tell you, they put on, one of the best races every Friday night here. And I'm going to put on a big show for them, money-wise, for the Fall Nationals coming up. It's going to be real exciting for those guys because I don't think they've ever raced for these purses that I'm going to give them. And, they definitely deserve credit this year. I mean, as many cars as they go out there. When we first started, I was running about 31 of them, and they would just, one or two cautions, and those things are, I love them. I love watching them. So that'll be cool for these guys for the Fall Nationals coming up.
Street stock point standings, Chuck Winslow out in front with 860 points. C.J. Guerreri long ways back with 771. Jared Hill, Nate Daggett, and Laverne Knickerbocker rounding out the top five. Things look pretty secure for Chuck Winslow at this point. Touching on the four cylinders, as Tyler was staying with Erica Bell, she's got an 18-point lead over Dave Wetham. Ray Heyer, he came on midsummer, rattled off a bunch of wins in a row. He's third in the point standings, still over 30 points behind Erica Bell's pace. Bruce Kinner, Scott Bradley rounding out the top five there. The front-wheel drive division, Cody Baker leading it with 730 points and pretty healthy advantage over Jared Brown, who's got 690. Jordan Kiefer, Craig Mart, and Nick Brown, the top five in point standings going into this weekend. And again, the four-cylinder is going to have to race twice, and one of those races is worth double points this weekend. Austin LeBar, he's rattled off. He rattled off a couple wins early. Jordan Bacon, he's also been on a pretty hot streak in the youth division. LeBar leading the points with 832. Steve Perkins behind him with 814. Joey Clark with 516. Jordan Bacon with 480. And Matt Irwin with 102 points in the youth division. So the four cylinders, they've been drawn pretty well. IMCAs, they look pretty stable. Have you given any thought to, has anything even crept in your mind about next year yet?
Yeah, obviously, I'm sure everybody can see it. The late models was 4 or 5 cars. I definitely stuck them out this year, and gave my word that I wouldn't cut them out. When we probably should have, but because financially it definitely doesn't make sense to do them. But we'll see what happens this winter if we can get some commitments with some guys. Our track is a lot better now suited for those cars. So we'll see what happens if we can get, a good field of those. I definitely keep them on board. But, if it stays, 5 cars, then we're definitely looking at a change there for sure. Everybody else, for this time of year and, with the economy and, people get burned out towards the end of the year and money gets tight and, people wreck their cars, blow their motors. So for us to have the car counts that we do, it's about the best of anybody. So I'm very happy with that. And, so everything else will stay the same for next year. And as far as the weekly classes go.
Gotcha. You talked a little bit about some of the surprises that you had through the course of the year. Ray Heyer coming on the way that he did. Chuck Winslow winning everything under the sun. What else through the course of the year has sort of grabbed you from at least the racer's perspective that you watched the track with?
To touch on the street stocks here, we haven't talked about those. Those guys are, broken record again here when I'm talking, but they've put on awesome racing this year. And, Chuck's been, he's been on fire. That, I love watching that class too when I get a chance to, but, I just watch Chuck and he's, the car is just like glued to the track. It's, he's definitely done his homework. He's got something figured out for sure. It's just a total package, and it shows. He's got, I think, 7 wins this year, and we've done a full tech on his car, so everything's legit with him, and he's just definitely running away from a class that I wouldn't think you could do that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's just there's a lot of great street stock drivers, and Chuck's really doing good this year for sure.
You'd mentioned that you had some plans for a big race for the 4-cylinders. I'm looking at October the 21st and 22nd. We've got the 4-cylinder Super Bowl event that coincides with the Street Stock Empire 100. The IMCAs are on the card. The Sportsman Shootouts there. The Crate Late Model Special. The Modified Gunslinger 50. And both nights we've got Empire Super Sprints and Patriot Sprint Tour in town. That's a pretty big end to the season on the 21st and 22nd of October.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. That's always the Dutch Hogue weekend race, and then obviously Dutch passed away a few months ago, so we're going to do something special for that. So that'll be pretty neat. It's going to be an awesome deal. I mean, we're going to do this Fall Nationals pretty much the same setup that we're going to do in the October race. I'm going to do an IMCA. It's going to be at least 1,000 plus to win for the Fall Nationals for the IMCA. So then that'll qualify them next year for the Nationals race. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to do for them guys. And then we're going to do a big a 2-day 4-cylinder show. It's going to be a really big money deal for those guys, so that'll be exciting. Of course, the modifieds, and then 5,000 to win for the sprint cars, all 3 divisions. How about that? I don't think anybody's seen that in quite a few years. URC, Patriots, and ESFs, 5,000 to win. We're also going to televise the Fall Nationals on Time Warner Cable with Rich Blick. Is going to do that with Mel Thomas, and we're going to do Time Warner Cable for the Fall Nationals. So that'll be exciting for all the drivers that are going to compete. They get to be a part of the TV deal, and then if that goes off well, which we're figuring it will, then we'll do a TV deal for the Dutch Hogue Memorial Race as well on weekends. So that's going to be pretty cool.
The preliminary night is just qualifying on Friday the September 23rd with last chance qualifiers and features held over to the 24th. Is that how that's going to work?
Yeah, we're juggling with that right now and how we're going to set that up. I should know by tomorrow how we're going to do that. Obviously, the sprint cars are Friday only, and then we're going to do the modifieds. Going to do like a special deal, and then the feature on Saturday. Mm-hmm. We're going to have a big sportsman race on Saturday as well, and then we're going to do the IMCA's 4-cylinder. So it's going to be pretty neat. So we're working on the format right now for the guys. We're going to do like free camping, and we're going to do have a band Friday night. So it's going to be neat. It's going to be fun for guys to camp over and hang out and race for 2 nights. And yep.
And then we've got a similar format with the sprint cars taking center stage on Friday the 21st, and then most of the rest of the divisions competing on Saturday the 22nd of October.
Yep.
For Dutch Hogue.
Yep.
And we've got the modified challenge is still on the table for this, correct?
Yeah, the Sunoco Challenge will be the Fall Nationals race and the Dutch Hogue race. So I won the first leg, so I've got the opportunity to win the $25,000. But if somebody wins the Fall Nationals and the Dutch Hogue, they can get $12,500. So I mean, that's a huge deal for not only you getting the big purse. You can, ultimately not just myself. I mean, I can win $25,000, but somebody else that wins these next 2 shows can win $12,500 plus the purse for both shows, which, you're going to be $20,000 easy.
Right.
That somebody else can win. So that's exciting. I mean, we're really doing everything we can here to make it cool for the racers and for the fans to have a hell of a show to watch.
how's it gone for you being an owner and a racer at Outlaw? Is that something that you're going to keep doing next year?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I love racing. But I got to tell you, it's been tough for sure. I mean, I'm short-handed on help in the race shop, and
Right.
It's tough for sure. It's tough. The maintenance on my cars get suffered a little bit, and and it shows. You know what I mean? It's a lot of places I try to race besides here. We can't even make the heat races because we come in late, and it's just I got a lot on my plate, and this racetrack comes first, and so for me to race, it's been hard. It takes the back burner. I'm not prepared. My big trailer stacker sits at the track that has all my stuff, so I can only, it's just you're not prepared like you want to be. And next year, I'll definitely be back online for the race and stuff, and being prepared and ready to go and be competitive all the time. And it's frustrating because you go places you can't get there on time or your stuff's not right. My son's racing too, so I'm trying to take care of his car, and then I'm trying to run the racetrack, and it's tough. It's tough, but every week it seems like it gets easier running the racetrack. It's not easier running the race cars, So I got to get that tuned up for this winter, so
that piece needs.
I'll be more serious, more competitive when we come back out next year.
Even with all of the all the weeks behind you, between having to make some tough decision on special events and having tons of cars and reworking the surface and all the effort that you put in trying to keep the track and the race team on its feet. When we were talking before we got started here tonight, said that there's only 5 nights left. You said you're kind of sad to see it go. It's too bad that it's down to just 5 because it keeps getting more fun every week.
Yeah, it does. I mean, usually, how the weather's been here the last 3, 4, 5 years. It seems like it always stays nicer, September, October, November than it used to be back in the day. So, it's kind of, this is our last night and Friday night, and it's like, you can still be racing, and it does. It's been getting better and better every week. It's like I said before, it's more fun for me every week as it goes along because, everybody knows what they're doing and your surface is getting better and just, everything in general, you're getting more experience, and so, yeah, I'm kind of sad to see it go, but it's kind of nice to get a breather, too, because I can catch up with my racing stuff in the shop and all that stuff, too, so it's kind of a double-edged sword.
What about you and your racing plans? Stepping away from Outlaw with the postseason here. We've talked about Outlaw Fall Nationals coming up on the 23rd and 24th of this month, 23rd, 24th of September, and then at the end of October 21st and 22nd, we got the Dutch Hogue National Open. Before that, we have Super Dirt Week, which is going to be contested at Oswego Speedway. There's a lot of other off-season, off-season, not so much fair, postseason type events that are all over the place that we've seen you do pretty well in. With the reduced pace at Outlaw, you're going to have more free time, theoretically, to get to work on the car. What are you planning on doing racing-wise after we get past championship night?
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be easier to get there. I can actually get to a racetrack and make the heat race. So that'll be nice. But yeah, I'm definitely going to jump around and support as many people as I can. We'll do. I think Brett Dale's got a couple shows left. Thunder Mountain and maybe and Accord. We'll hit those. Definitely go to Charlotte. I'm not sure on Super Dirt Week yet. I don't know what I think about that deal yet. Obviously, I wish him luck, and hopefully everything works good for him. But I don't know if I'll take the car over there or not. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I'll probably pretty much hit whatever I can hit. I think Woodhull's got one more left. I'll probably go over there and hit one of his races. Pretty much where there's a race, we'll try to hit it.
Well, it sounds like you got a lot of plans. How about any changes that you got with the track? Have you had a chance to get any sprint cars on there to run test laps on it to see how the new surface is going to hold up with them? A little bit of a different animal than what the modifieds can put the track through.
Yeah, actually, we had them for NASCAR night, and the track was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
The sprint cars put on one of the best shows I've ever seen. And I'm not being biased because I own the track, but matter of fact, I was talking to Tony Stewart up in the VIP booth there, and he said that was one of the best sprint car races he's seen in a long time, and it was awesome. I mean, so that makes you feel good. You know, you're putting so much time and effort in the track and trying to get it better, and it was just phenomenal. So I can't wait for this Fall Nationals with the sprint cars down there, because I think it's just going to be, I think it's going to be unreal. I think the race is going to be just phenomenal. The track, it's going to be fast. I mean, we're averaging 96 miles an hour around here. So, I mean, you got to be doing 100 and something, I don't know, 115, 18 probably down the straights. But, I mean, it's fast. So, you know, now we just put some more clay into it. Them things should be unreal for that race. So I'm excited.
Did you get over to Rolling Wheels?
I did not. I actually wanted to go over there. I really like Rolling Wheels. Love running over there, but I didn't get a chance to get over there. I'm thinking maybe we might do that Sunday show if I got enough time with Friday and Saturday. I don't know. I might be too tired to go over there, but
Right.
I'd like to go over there and race. I really like that place. So, but no, I didn't get a chance to see it.
Gotcha. Well, in terms of next year's or the rest of this year's plans, sounds like the racing stuff is pretty well under control. Have you got any plans in place for the points banquet?
Yeah, we're gonna do a real nice banquet for the drivers. I haven't set the date yet for that. I'm thinking probably in December. I'm gonna have it at Watkins Hotel, Arbor Hotel on the lake in Watkins. So that'll be real nice for all the drivers. And you know, it's $5,000 to win for the modifieds, and then for the points, and then all the other divisions, champion gets $1,000 to win. So that'll be cool for the drivers and stuff. So, but yeah, we'll have a real nice banquet, and I just got to figure out what date. It's going to be in most likely December, possibly January, but I'll try to get it before the end of the year.
Right on. What have we missed here? We talked about the double points night and where the points championships sit. We've talked about the Outlaw Fall National, September 23rd and 24th. We talked about the Dutch Hogue Open Weekend, the 21st and 22nd, and what some of your plans are racing-wise, what your season's been like. Is there what do we miss that has been big in Tyler Series life?
I got some cool stuff for next year we're going to do. We're going to do a Tony Stewart show, 410 sprint car show here next year with the Arctic Cat Series. Tony's nice. Obviously done with NASCAR this year, and then he's going to be doing a lot of racing with the sprint cars next year, and he really loves racing over here. So that'll be really cool. We're going to run his 410 series over here, working on a date with those guys. That would be unbelievable to see a 410 come thing. So that's, and then the other thing I'm going to do is working on doing a Lucas Oil late model race here for next year.
Excellent.
And put that on the card so that you know, Bloomquist and Jimmy Owens and McCready follows them guys now. So I think it'd be a hell of a race with the Lucas Oil late models here. So that's those two things are. There's a couple of cool things that we're going to try to put on the schedule for next year.
It sounds like that's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to see the late models there. I think the late models are going to do a great job. The super lates, they're always fun to watch.
Oh, those guys are, them things are unbelievable. I love them cars. And I tell you, well, nobody's had the Lucas Oil around here. Everybody's, I think Weedsport and maybe Fonda or something's had the, well, it's all late models.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think anybody that I know has had the Lucas Oil one. So, obviously, I think those guys are the premier late model series right now. And plus, Timmy, local guys running in there, and Bloomquist and all them guys. So, I think that would be just unbelievable to have the Lucas Oil late models here. So that's the plan for next year.
That's exciting. I'm excited to find out when the date is for that one. That's going to be a fun one. And then coming together with Tony Stewart, he's not made any secret that he plans on spending times in sprint cars, and he's going to be plenty busy racing. He's just not going to be doing it in a NASCAR entry. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun to see as that develops, because who knows? You might see him getting back into one of the cars when he's on the tour right there in Black Rock. Not just a sprint car, borrowed car from anybody.
He loves coming over here racing. So, you know, I don't know for sure, but I'm assuming he would be over here racing. You know, that'd be to see 410s around here, and plus, you know, he's tight with Freddie Raymer and all them guys, the Pennsylvania posse, and you know, that's not too far from my place down to there. So, you know, obviously the ideal thing is to get a date where you can get all those guys to come up, and plus his 410s. I mean, I think it would be, again, I mean, wow, 410s around this thing. I asked Tony, I said, how fast do you think they'd be going time-wise? And he's like, oh, you'd be high 11s, low 12 seconds around this thing, and that's just flying 4/10 of a mile. Huh?
That's it's pretty fast. Plenty fast.
Yeah.
A lot. Sounds like 2017 is shaping up to be a good year. Hopefully 2016 continues on the path that it's going, and it ends as a successful one for you as a first-year owner. Doesn't seem like anything jumped off the page that was too surprising for you through the course of the year. And like we talked about, it's just a matter of seat time, getting used to it. And now that you've gone through it once the first time, you know a little bit more what to expect. And I trust you've been taking pretty good notes. You're a pretty meticulous guy.
Yeah, I mean, I only, you know, I see what happens, what's wrong, what's good, and you know, I definitely won't make a mistake twice. So, you know, it's a couple schedule changes for next year, and you know, different weather things on special shows, and you know, stuff like that, and you know, so it's definitely a learning experience. It was a good one for sure, and you know, I'm very excited for 2017, and you know, we keep on making improvements here at the track, at the facility, and you know, I'm just going to keep on plugging away and making it exciting for the fans and for the drivers, and can't wait for next year.
Well, Tyler, man, appreciate you coming on and hanging out with us here for a half hour or so. Is there anybody that you wanted to make mention of here before we split ways?
Yeah, I just got to thank everybody that works at the track. You know, it takes 51 people here on a Friday night to run it, and you know, I got a big shout out to Robbie Conklin that he's here every night after work and doing maintenance on equipment, and he's just a great guy, great asset to the racetrack, and you know, everybody that's involved here. It takes a lot to run these things, and you know, you can't do it without good people behind you. So I got to say thanks to everybody.
Well, Tyler, man, wish you the best of luck here as the season winds down, both at Outlaw and in your own equipment, man. Good luck, and keep in touch.
Hey, appreciate it. Thanks a lot for having me on, too.
You bet, Tyler. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, bye.
Bye now. There goes Tyler Siri preparing for the postseason at Outlaw. They got double points night on Friday. They got the extra four-cylinder race to start the evening Friday, and then the Outlaw Fall Nationals, which is going to include the ESS URC Patriot Sprint Cars 5,000 win modifieds, Grit Sportsman Series Street Stocks 2,000 win crate late models, IMCA Empire Series, the four cylinders, 600 sprints, mod lights on the card on the 23rd and the 24th. And then October 21st and 22nd is Dutch Hogue National Open Weekend, presented by Blue Heron Construction. Now Outlaw Fall Nationals presented by M&W Aluminum. ESS and Patriot Sprint Tour in town for 3,000 win. Modified Gunslinger 50, the BRP late models, crate late models, Street Stock Empire 100, IMCAs, Sportsman Shootout event, and the four-cylinder Super Bowl plus mod lights on the 21st and 22nd of October to round out the season down there at Outlaw. The year-end banquet is planned over the winter, December, possibly January, depending on facility availability. Over to give you a rundown of what we saw last week before we get out of here for the night. Justin Harris put a new car in Victory Lane at Canandaigua Motorsports Park. He hadn't planned on bringing the car out yet. It was going to be a postseason show, but after he had some problems, he ended up bringing out this car. It looked like the Billy Taylor Doug Hoffman ride that he drove at Super Dirt Week last year. Went right into Victory Lane. Seemed to fit pretty nice there. He's third in points behind Matt Shepard, who's got 5 wins, 824 points to his credit. Billy Decker's got a win in 785 behind Shepard. He took a wild ride early in the 35-lap main. Car dug into the track and it flipped hard. He wasn't hurt. Tim Fuller got the lead on the restart about 10 laps later. He had an accident, or the pace was slowed by an accident where Dave Rauscher was struck in the leg by a broken drive shaft. He lost a wheel and had to go to the pits, which gave the lead to Harris, and he never looked back. Dave Marchicelli won the Sportsman main, adding to his lead in points. It was his 5th win. He's 75 points out of Ricky Newton. Ricky Newton's won 3 times. And Darrell Ruggles led all 15 laps of the 305 feature. Lee Sanders was behind him with Jason Whipple, Dan Bennett, and Tim Smith in the top 5. Eric Carlson has 3 wins and leads the points with 622 markers. Dan Cron follows him with 556. And win leader Lee Sanders is 3rd with 526 points. Chad Holman won his 9th feature. With the late models, only 2 cars on the track for this one. Steve Pasaric chased him, and he's got 12 points in hand over Pasaric going into the end of the regular season over there. Mark Manutolo won the 15-lap Street Stock Pure Stock feature. Jason Doty was behind him, and 3rd-place finisher Steve Pasaric. And he was the top-finishing Street Stock Blaine Smith. And Brian Michaels was 5th, was also in the Street Stock. Manutolo's won 8 times and leads the points over Doty by 30, 892 to 862. Blaine Smith is 3rd with 5 wins and 716 points. John Cardavani won the 10-lap New Legends feature. Season finale with double points is rolling off at 7 o'clock on Saturday. We talked about Outlaw Spencer Speedway. Tommy Catalano was the first driver to win back-to-back modified features this year at Spencer, edging Kevin Timmerman. Darrell Lewis was behind him. In the Super Sixes feature, Adam Van Hall and Allison Knopfler posted podium finishes while Tim Farrell came up with the victory. And there was 2 4-cylinder features. The curfew delayed main was won by Jacob Gustafson, and the double points main for 4 cylinders went to Mike Hyman. The track hosted bicycle races there as part of the night. Austin Leedy won the 5 and under class. Matt Lees won the 6 to 8 year bracket, and Stephen Habaker won the 9 and up division. Brewerton Vic Coffey finally picked up a win at the track there. As many wins as he's got, as many different tracks as he's been to, he's never won at Brewerton. Finally knocked on the door on that one, got into victory lane by passing Joe August Jr. on lap 22, held the point for the balance of the 35-lap feature. Chad Phelps was on his bumper with Jimmy Phelps, August, and Chris Heil in the top 5. This weekend, Brewerton is going to welcome the Empire Super Sprints, United Racing Club, and Patriot Sprint Tour for a combined 360 event. Billy DeWhitaker finally back in victory lane at Fulton. Billy Whitaker last won in Fulton in July 1994, and it's been like 10 years since he was last in a modified. Didn't do too bad there. Late yellow on lap 27 brought Tim Kerr to his back bumper, but Whitaker shook off the advances, held on for the win. Kerr was second with Chris Heil, Tim Sears, and Pat Ward behind him. Ron Davis locked up the Sportsman feature with a win in the Sportsman class. That's track championship for Ron Davis. Yucca Rome rained out, so they've got some changes going on over there with their schedule. We're going to try and get a hold of Mike to get into some of those details a little bit deeper. Right now, they've canceled the Race of Champions 200 September 10th. While the 200 was taken off, the Race of Champions Modifieds are still going to be part of the New Yorker weekend. The track has added a 3,000 to win 40-lap feature for them Sunday, the 11th of September. The card September 10th is going to include the King of Dirt Sportsman or Pro Stocks, the CRSA Sprint Cars, and the Cole Cup 360 event follows on the 11th, joining the Race of Champions mods and the ROC 602 Sportsman. Both Sportsman events have a guaranteed $1,000 to win payout. The Cole Cup event is still paying $10,000 to the winner, while $500 goes to any driver that qualifies for the 30-lap 360 A main as part of the Cole Cup program. So a lot of action still to come at Utica Rome. We've got a ton of stuff coming up with the postseason through the course of through the balance of 2016. We'll be trying to keep an eye on that stuff. Probably be giving Brett Deo a call here before too long to find out how his summer's been. He's been a busy guy, been all over the place, and that I think is going to do it for this edition. Back to school next week. I was up at Mid Lakes today and yesterday, checking out some of the new rooms and some of the planning and changes that have gone on up there. Looking forward to seeing a lot of the kids that we've seen off and on. I know one of the fellas that lives up near Lee Sanders. He's over at the shop periodically, and then a couple of the kids that we know in the hall from out in the Clifton Springs area, always wearing their dirt motorsports garb. So looking forward to seeing all those guys again when we get back to school here. Officially, everything's starting again next week. For now, that is going to do it for us here on FingerLakes1.tv and Finger Lakes 1, 31st lap, number 209 in the books. We'll see everybody again right back here next Thursday.